I'm going to start with this one over here. And what I'm going to do is as I go along, I'm going to make duplicates of them and bring them out. So for a lot of them, I'm going to make just Shift D duplicates. Okay, so I'm going to bring that one out there and scale it up quite a bit. So it's quite large, and I'll bring it up so it's sitting on that ground level. Now with that, I'm going to turn on this snapping here. So this little magnet is going to make it a lot easier for me to snap things to it. And I'm going to try and use face snapping. And sometimes it's a bit odd. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to use Shift D on this to make a duplicate. And I'm going to snap it to the face of this. I might scale that one down a little bit as well. Okay, and move it so that it's on that face. Okay, so I've got that face there. I hit Shift D and duplicate another one. And I'll pop one up there. And I'll pop one over here, but I'll need to hit RZ90, or in this case 180. Not 180. RZ, ooh, which way has it gone? -90. I think I can bring that out. It is snapping to the face, but it wants to snap to the wrong face. So there we go. Now it's snapping to that face there. Okay, Shift D and bring it down to there. So now I've got those window things snapped to that. With this, which I said I was going to use before, I'm going to change this to vertex snapping. Hit G and bring that up to here, just so that it's much easier. I'm just going to turn snapping off while I work with this part here. Bring that up, bring it out. I pretty much want it right on the corner and out a little bit, and I'm going to scale it up. I should have duplicated that, so I will duplicate it. I'll just move one over here, duplicate it, hit X and bring it back. Okay, and with this one, I'm going to scale it up. I'm not sure why that's off there. I'm just going to set origin to geometry. That'll bring it back. And go into top view. Make sure that's pretty much on the corner. Okay, so with this here, what I'm going to do is apply 2 array modifiers to it. And with these array modifiers, I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. I want to get it going along the y-axis in this case. So I'm going to change that to 0 and change that to 1. Now I want to make a little bit of space between them. So I'm going to turn that 1 up and then increase the count. Until, and then I'm going to play with this here, until that's pretty much on the corner there. Okay, so that looks about right. Now with that done, I'm going to click, I'm going to add another modifier. It's going to be an array modifier. And this time I'm going to go -1.9, which is what I've got there. And I'm going to do that the same amount of times. Then I'll click apply. Now that looks hideous, so I've got to edit that. Go into edit mode. Oops, apply both of those arrays. Go into edit mode. And I really just want to delete all of these here. So I'm going to turn this off down here. Hit B to draw a box around them. Hit X and delete all the vertices. Okay, so that'll just leave me with that bit there. Okay, which is what I want. So that looks pretty good there. Next bit is I'm going to make a duplicate of this and bring it over here. I'll turn that edge snapping on again, face, and pop it there like that, and then I'll bring it down so it kind of matches the ground. Doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. And I might make another duplicate and bring that one over to here, bring it down so it's on the ground like that. Okay, now at the top here I think I'm going to duplicate this and bring that up. Now just, if I can get it in the general area, I might just move it. If it goes all funny, just turn the snapping off, because it can get a little bit irritating at times. And I'm going to pop that there. Now with this one I'm going to edit the bottom of it. I'll turn that back on so I don't actually edit anything through it. And this is going to be a little bit weird. What I want to do is make it look kind of like it's part of this. So I'm going to extrude down and scale in, extrude down and scale in. And also I think as I go I'm going to be moving that in like that. Extrude down, scale in, and then move it across and move it forward like that. Okay, so it kind of looks like it's on the corner. It's not perfect. I'm looking at it from this end though. Now to get the top bit on, I'm going to grab one of these, duplicate it, bring it up here, turn on that snapping and grab it and bring it to the top of that. Close enough. Turn off snapping. Is there a shortcut key? Shift Tab. Bring it so it's pretty much in the center there. It's not going to matter if it's perfect or not. Scale it up. So it kind of sits like a cap on top of it. And bring it up so that it's sitting on top. Now it needs to go a little bit that way. Don't worry if the lines don't match up. Okay, that's that one there. I'll grab this here, Shift D. Oops, I want the there. I'm wondering if it will rotate. Align rotation with the snapping target. That'll be handy. So I'm going to hit G. Oh, it wants to do it that way. Well, that's not what I want. Let's see. Project. Let's see. Active. Vertex. Nope. It would be nice if it did that, but it's not going to. So I'm going to have to do that manually. So I'm going to go face, hit G, snap it to that face there and bring it out a little bit. I'll just turn that off. Bring it out so it's on there. And I'll scale it down because that one's not quite right. And I'll do the same thing. I'll move it over to here. Move it back. And I'll just rotate it on the Z axis until I get it right. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit fiddly here. Rotate Z. I might have to zoom in until it looks right. Now, you notice here how these axes are going in the wrong way. That's because I'm not set to local. If I set it to local, it's a lot easier to move it. So RZ, and that looks pretty good there. Okay, so that's part of my castle. Now it's just a matter of repeating this process to get different looking shapes and so on, and you can rotate bits of it. So if I get that there and put it in there, bring it down, I might scale that one up as well. And I might also rotate that. So I'll rotate that a little bit that way. I'll move that over there. That's my archway. Okay, now this bit here, I can probably just grab that and I could even make it part of that castle. But if I duplicate that, bring it here, rotate, I might undo it. Here, I'll undo the rotation on this. There we go. So Shift D for duplicate, scale it down, and I'll get it in the right place on this one. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but it should be pretty close, so that can just come down a tiny bit. Move it along, and that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to join these together. So I'm going to hit them both and hit Control J, and that'll make them one model. That way I don't need to worry about rotating it anymore or making that there. These bits on top will be fine wherever they go. Okay, so in the back here, I'm going to duplicate this and bring it to the back. Once again, it's up to you how you do this. You might want to make a completely different looking castle. I'm going to have some of these turret towers at the back. Duplicate, bring that one up. Some of these you won't be able to see too much, so I'm just kind of playing with them. I'm going to scale this one down. Scale it down. And Shift D, I'll bring that one down to there. It's kind of hard when you work in 3D, not quite sure where it's actually gone to. Maybe pull that one back like that, and Shift D, bring that up, scale it down, bring that out. Grab these caps, Shift D, bring a cap up to here, and I might just lock it to the face so I know that it's definitely there. Doesn't seem to want to go on there this time. Oh, there we go, and I'll bring that up. And that one looks a bit big, so I can scale it down. Move it so it's in the right place. Looks like I missed one of those faces as well. Duplicate, etc. Okay, so I think you probably get the idea from here. I'm not sure why the snapping's not working anymore. I might do vertex snapping, G. It at least brings it close to where I want it to be. Like that. And then just pull it down a little bit because we want it to give some shadows later. Shift D, bring it to there. Bring it up. Scale this one up. Bring it forward. Cool, so there's my current castle. I've made a bit of a mistake here by bringing that into that, so I might just move that, and that backwards. Like that there. And then that separates it from that. Bring some of these things up, etc. Just build a cool looking castle. Now, when I go into render mode, I'll just quickly set up the render settings. So world's ambient occlusion, multiply, and I'll just pop it in rendered mode. You can see it looks quite cool. So because it's got the shading on it and so on, it looks pretty low poly, but the simplicity of it is what we're really looking for. I can turn this number of samples up here. The more samples we have, the less grainy it will be. So if I only have one sample, you'll see it's really grainy. 2 samples, and this is light samples. It kind of checks them and then reevaluates them and reevaluates them and reevaluates them, etc. So for most things, you can just leave it at 5 samples. For a final render of a still image, you probably want to turn it up to maybe a couple of hundred, maybe even 1,000 or so. But then it's going to take a lot longer to render. And for some animations, we can probably leave it about 5 or 10. I think for ours, we just left it at 5, which was no problem. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to keep working on that there. So I'm going to build it out around here, have some more of these turrets, so it's not just one big one of those at the back. Add some more windows to it, add some walls, and go from there.